They don't necessarily need oxygen.
You have been dunking cookies in there, and they're releasing oxygen.
Well, see, I didn't have enough cookies to dunk.
God.
I only had a few.
They can hear you. They can hear you.
Hi.
Hey. This is an adult conversation about cookies.
Look at that. Look at that there, Harvey. Hey, it's a sub, sis. Harvey, let go of the goat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Forged at the Table. I'm Charles. At least I think I am tonight. I might be Harvey. Not really sure. This is The Long Road. I'm the Dungeon Master. These guys are the players. And tonight we're going to play us some Dungeons and Cthulhu. No, actually, we're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't tell, we were all goofing around back there in the backstage area. We were wandering around back there trying to gather up the sheeps and the goats and stuff like that. Because up here in Montana, we do everything with banjo music. This is going to be a little bit of an off night, a little bit kind of on the crazy side. I'm hoping everybody out there can hear us all right. Hope the audio and the video is doing fantastic, and more importantly than that, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. This is episode.
Shows that we're not all lined up in our boxes, dear.
Oh, hey, you're not all lined up that's because I didn't do this. Blinky, there, everybody's up and going. So I hope that everybody out there is doing fantastic. I know we're all doing great and wonderful and fantastic. And we are here to hopefully entertain you with some Dungeons and Dragons. But as per usual, as it always happens, I seem to have announcements to make, and tonight I have announcements. I have figured out the Great Northwestern Dice Fiasco. I now know who all won what last night when I was in my stupor of non-sleeping for 2 days. So all the dice will be going out this coming Tuesday. Swarmzy, I've got your book and your dice on order. Those will be here within the next 2 weeks, and then we'll get those in the mail on out to you, my friend. So you will be able to play us some Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars. No, it's not. I actually did get some sleep last night, and I even took a nap this afternoon, which hasn't happened in a while. So that was absolutely fantastic. So tomorrow is normally at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time is normally Adventure Weekly, but this week there will be no Adventure Weekly. There will be absolutely no stream tomorrow unless I announce a pop-up. So keep an eye open for that because that's also very popular. Possible, or whatever you want to say. The reason why we're not having Adventure Weekly tomorrow is because next week, Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are introducing 2 new players into the roster for Adventure Weekly. So that should be absolutely fantastic and a blast. One of them is a gentleman named Matt, lives over there in Cucamonga, Washington, out on an island. You thought that Source's hamster was... No. He's a good guy. He's got his own stream where he plays some video games and all that, so we're going to be introducing him. Hey, AFK2P, everybody that's out there, I see you all. The chat's right there. Don't worry about that. We see you, I think, kind of, sort of. Anyways, that's what's happening tomorrow. I'm going to try, just so people know, I need 3 players who are brave souls that want to step into an afternoon game on Thursday. It's a one-shot for a very special individual. This person is a service member. Neviklink. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow 21 hours ago, by the way. Super appreciate that. Anyways, this Thursday in the afternoon, you can check our Discord. The information is absolutely posted up. So go ahead and post if you're available for that. This individual is a very special person. They are currently deployed, U.S. servicemen. I can't disclose where they are due to Army regulations, but they are in an area that's not exactly hospitable at all times. So they got a hold of me. They want to get involved in the game. So we're going to run a game for them. So I need 3 players for that. There's a possible pop-up, most likely a one-shot happening this Monday. If you're interested in the one-shot on Monday, send me a message on Discord. All you need to do is be a follower. Send me a message. Specify that you're interested in playing in that pop-up. That pop-up or the one-shot on Monday will most likely start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and run for about 3 hours. That sort of thing. No, AFK, he's in a much more violent area than Chicago. So I'm going to run a game for that individual. We're looking forward to doing that for him. Again, next Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and points in between, you do the math. We are doing episode 1.5.23-A96 of A Walk Beyond, where I run a campaign for 5 magnificent, stupendous, wonderful moderators from over there at D&D Beyond. So tune in for that. Next Saturday night at 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we are introducing a new player right here on the Long Road. You'll see that is what is represented in our overlay tonight. See what else do we got going on. Let's see. Yes, this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Are you ready for it? This Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the one, the only, the infamous, murderous, blood-crazed turtle Bubbles returns with a brand new cast. We're going to be doing session 0 of that this week. We have a Call of Cthulhu one-shot that's coming up somewhere out there. If you're on our Discord, you'll see the Cthulhu thingy. Get involved in the discussion on there. That's actually going to be sharing things about Cthulhu, about the game itself. We have, in May, a campaign, a bi-weekly campaign, of Star Wars coming up. That's Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars. And we have a possible another one that's going to be starting up also in May that's going to be getting ran every other Saturday. That'll be the afternoon game on the off days of this campaign, which might be going bi-weekly, but we'll discuss that when we get there. Anyways, I'd like to welcome everybody to Forge at the Table. Again, this is episode 8 of The Long Road. You'll notice that we have somebody missing tonight. We're not going to get into the politics. We're just going to say that shit happens and people move on, and we are the people moving on, and he was the shit that happened. So
well said. Well said.
So that is the stuff that's going to be happening tonight. Let's see. So let's go ahead and send it around the horn. We are going to start with Regina. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to notice some absolutely magnificent, wonderful, stupendous, mind-blowing artwork there in the position of Regina Wandelgolt, our little gnomish fighter. That artwork was supplied to me custom by Weiss Girl. You'll know her as Demaya over on the Discord. She is also going to be an upcoming Dungeon Master here this summer. So that is her artwork. Absolutely amazing stuff. And we're looking forward to getting some more artwork on the channel. But we're going to go ahead and send it around the horn starting with Shauna. Tell us who you are, who you're playing, a little bit about your character, and anything else you might want to throw out there for the people.
Hi, my name is Shauna, and I'm playing Regina. She's a gnomish fighter who aspires to one day be a fantastical chef. That giant spoon that you see, she procured it from a giant folk, and she didn't want to give it back because she liked it so much. So now she just smacks people with it.
All right, Connor.
I'm playing Belton, halfling Sork, who is... World outlook was seriously shaken a while back, a couple years back now. Still trying to get a feel for how he's going to be using his magic, which he had at one point come to rely on and then realized it was maybe a curse as well, and now trying to figure out how exactly he's going to live with that.
And Jeannie.
Hi, I'm Jeannie. I'm playing Talina. She's a halfling rogue with a few other things up her sleeve. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're going with that.
And Danny.
Hi, I play Wiki Wobblefizz, the Gnomish Cleric. And you'll notice Wiki has actually recently changed not only deities, but he's actually had a shift in alignment as well due to all the things that have occurred to him over the last couple of years.
And that must leave the incoming player. That incoming player will be known as Danny 2.0. He is going to be joining us next week. This is a person that we have role-played, at least me and Jeannie have role-played with several times in the past. He's a very good guy. I think you guys are going to dig him. Great charisma. And I think he's going to bring a lot to the Forge. We have, as it is right now, coming back to me, I'm Charles. I'm your Dungeon Master. I'm the host. I'm the facest with the mostest. We have several Dungeon Masters here. We have... I think right now we're looking at a possibility, hopefully sometime in the next month to month and a half, of possibly having as many as 7 Dungeon Masters. That myself and 6 others running games here. We are in desperate need of players who want to get onto the stream and play games with these Dungeon Masters. I have a Dungeon Master right now that is super looking forward to running some stuff for some people that are new to D&D 5th edition or Dungeons & Dragons or tabletop gaming in the whole. If you are newer to the game and you're out there, drop me a message so I can get you into a game with this Dungeon Master. We are looking for players. If you want to run a game here or you want to play in a game here, all you need to do is drop a follow on our channel, get involved over in our Discord, and we will get you sorted out, and we will do our best to get you hooked up with some Dungeon Masters. If you're a Dungeon Master, you do need a camera, headset, microphone. If you're a player, a camera is not required. It's shined upon. I like it. But if you do not have a camera, that's all right. We can look around and get by with that, but you will need a headset and a microphone, or a headset with a microphone. Yes, I hope that everybody sees the flashcards flying by out there. I went ahead and threw up a little bit of a graphic up there so people can now see the stats, the armor class, the hit points, the passive perception, the race, class, and level of all the players and what they're playing, as well as a little advertisement about a small little website that I really feel. Oh, I got audio breaking up. Give me a second here. Let me fix that. There we go. Now we're back. All right. See, fixed it that simple, that easy. PP is passive perception. Yep, subs, I got it. The robot is gone bye-bye.
PowerPoints.
Yeah. The PP is passive perception. How's the robot out there for everybody? This may very well be the last time I ever use voice meter because it's just giving me too much problems. But, yeah, so I got that put together. That is going to be something that's going to eventually come to all of our games. So you guys will be able to actually track the characters and see all the wonderful movements and all that sort of thing. So there we go with that. See, I told you guys I figured out the audio. So we're definitely ready to rock and roll and get things going on that front. So yeah, please get involved over on our Discord. Drop a follow. If your name's different on Discord than it is over here on our Twitch stream, please do me a favor and let me know. Send me a private message saying what your name difference is. That way I can give you the proper permissions over on our Discord, because those proper permissions mean a lot to us. There is a difference between being a follower and a subscriber over there. I don't mean to be an elitist, but hey, you people out there are keeping our lights on. Last night was an insane night. You guys went off and went bananas with the bits. The bit jar is there. I hope everybody can see it. Keep something in mind that donations, subscriptions, bits are not required here. All that we require of you is to pull up a chair, enjoy what we're doing, and get involved. If you do want to drop bits on us, you do want to subscribe to our channel, or God's forbid, you do want to break open your pocketbook in another way and drop the greenbacks, pesos, dollars on us for the wonders of donations, we'll accept those. But keep in mind that if you do give us money in any way, shape, or form, we're going to take that money and we're going to slam it right back into this channel. We are going to be doing things like what we did last night, where we gave away a bunch of dice and we gave away a Edge of the Empire Fantasy Flight Games core rule book and a set of dice. We are going to be sending out books and all sorts of stuff. Hey, Weezits, we're going to be sending out all sorts of stuff. So as it stands right now, 50 to 60% of what you guys give us, we go ahead and send right back out to you. So you guys ready for some Dungeons and Dragons fun? If you're not, we can just sit here and do this as a round table and talk about, I don't know, farm animals, Velcro, hip waders, and Wyoming. Did I say Wyoming? I'm sorry, Fire. So on last week's episode of The Long Road, what exactly happened? If you'd be so kind as to tell me, Talina.
Oh, let's see here. We ended up pretty much, me and Wiki were arguing about trying to get information about Magnus Longhaul, a collector of sorts that basically sent one of his buddies to try and get us to come over and do a job for him. And yeah, we're not agreeing on how much gold should be spent to get said information.
When last we saw our brave band of adventurers, they were huddled in the small, close-in confines, the walls painted, etched, carved, and designed with many reliefs, many drawings, many paintings of various nefarious, shadowy sorts of acts. They were there seeking information about a one Magnus Longhaul that was brought to their attention at the Gilded Nymph by a messenger, an impossibly foppish fellow, about a meeting and a job that was being offered. Coins were slid across. They are now gathered in the confines, candlelights, and one sconce, glass-filled, crimson, blue, yellow glass covering it, and kind of a stained glass motif casting weird shadows upon the wall. Sitting in front of them is the gaunt, thin, leather-skinned, darkly clad individual known as Dreyfus. They are sitting in the shadowed temple, or one of many shadowed temples, of Fressa, Lady of Shadows. She's known in these regions as a fate spinner. She's a goddess of thieves, a goddess of assassins, rogues, and ne'er-do-wells, as well as those who work at night, such as chimney sweeps, street cleaners, and that sort of thing. When we left them, there was a bit of a debate going on about donations as compared to bribes for information, leaning back on great silken dark-colored pillows that give off a very, very southern deserty kind of feel. Strings and fingers of rare and exotic incense dance through the small confines of the shadowy temple. Sits Dreyfus, his foot clad in a very supple leather shoe or boot, pushes with his toe this gilded platinum and gold gem-encrusted dish that is heaped over with coins of various nations and lands, platinum, which is rare, gold, silver, copper, as well as the odd little sparkle of jewels inside. So, you keep talking about this whole thing about paying for information and all that sort of thing. And like I've said repeatedly, since you've come in and I've been such a hospitable host, and he stretches his foot out, his toes, and the leather is so supple on the footwear that he's wearing that you can actually see the toes bend inside as he touches the plate again and kind of nudges it off towards you, Talina. You can hear a light scrape as the metal slides across the stone floor in here. When you guys first came in here, you distinctly remember that he kind of led you under the eaves of some low-hanging branches, olive or juniper, that kind of a branch. And you distinctly remember your feet on like earth, like going into a park within this particular quarter of the city. He now you realize that you are actually in a temple proper. As his foot pushes it over, so Wiki, you sit there and you bring these people, and I thought that we had a bit of an understanding before. You bring these people in here, and then they just start kind of dropping insults. How's the lady supposed to react to people like this? You want information? I got information. I got information for days, but I can't just give it out to you. And he taps the dish just a little bit.
Dreyfus, I'm sorry, I didn't mean any disrespect. Here, allow me, and I'll reach into my pocket and pull another pouch with 10 gold in it and add it to the bowl in front of me. Do you tinkle the coins out into the bowl, or you just put the pouch in the bowl? Yes.
Yes to which?
Yes, I pour the 10 gold pieces of that pouch in.
As the gold pieces come out of the pouch, sliding out of the pouch and begin to descend through the air as this kind of shimmering waterfall of coin, the light plays off of the coins and you notice these beams coming off. It's kind of disconcerting because it doesn't at all look natural whatsoever. It's as if the light in this place is in a way kind of shining its own eye onto the coins, and almost as if it's counting. As each one comes through a specific point in the air, it's like it glints off. And when the glints come off of the coins, these kind of subtle golden beams dance across different portions of the wall. These carved reliefs and the paintings and the drawings on the walls. And it almost begins to tell a tale. And as you see this stuff happening, go ahead and roll me a perception check, everybody. Weezits, give me a chance to prove you're wrong, man. Get involved in a one-shot. You can do it. So starting with Regina, what did you get?
I am not perceptive at all right now. I'm in my own little world. I rolled a 7.
All right, Belton.
12.
Talina.
15.
And Wiki.
10.
10. Talina. For some odd reason, your eyes can't your eyes kind of catch the beams as they start going, and there's something kind of almost entrancing about it that kind of pulls you in. It's almost as if a ghostly hand kind of caresses under your chin and begins kind of guiding you with each of these sparkles that comes off. Like I said, there's shimmers, there's sparkles, but each one has a specific beam, and you're able to pick this kind of reflective beam out. And as you follow it kind of around the room as they shine off of each of the coins, the tale it begins to tell is one of definite cutthroats, cut purses, shadowy things in the night. There's actually a particular mural. It's a small one, but you see it over on the side, and it tells the tale from what you can see just by glancing at it, and everything kind of slows down just a touch for you. And as you glance over at it, you see it tells the tale of a chimney sweep cleaning out what appears to be a very long, tall chimney, sticking his brush broom down inside of it. And then you realize there's several panels, and it tells the story of how while he's cleaning it, there's apparently some kind of creature, and he gets sucked inside of the chimney. And all these sparkle lights and stuff hit all these different tales that tell the various tales of the things in the night, in the shadows, both nefarious and somewhat more natural. And you begin to get the feeling that there are more eyes in this small little temple than just yours, your compatriots, and Dreyfus. You don't see anybody, but you definitely get the impression that you're being watched. Because as these sparkles kind of dance throughout the room, you actually notice that one or two of them might have actually moved independently of the actual paintings that are there. Go ahead, just Talina, do me a favor and roll me an Arcana check.
That would be a not natural 20.
A not natural 20. As you kind of begin to look a little bit closer at this whole scene, you begin to realize that the walls of this temple seem to be looking out on the greater city of Stormhaven. These paintings, these reliefs, these drawings on the wall aren't paintings, reliefs, and drawings on the wall. They're almost as if they're images of what's happening right now within the city. A way for those in the temple itself to keep track on everything that's happening in the dark shadows. So that chimney sweep that you just saw get eaten inside of the chimney he was cleaning just happened, or at least that's the impression you get. And everybody else, as you're standing there, you see Talina kind of shiver. You see, and it's one of those things almost as if an icy finger just traces up your spine. And it definitely gives you the willies thinking that all the bad things that happen at night you can watch on these walls, and you become hyper aware of it. You kind of pull yourself and snap out of it, and you notice that Dreyfus's eyes, dark, deep set, small bead, like, are focused on you. So, it seems that you've kind of taken in the way things work here. And as I said, you can tell that we've got an abundance of information. What you just saw there, little one, that's what you're paying for. That's what your donation goes for. And he taps the plate again, shifting it ever so slightly towards you, Talina. And he nods down, looking at the plate as if he's expecting you to put something into it.
She'll reach in, kind of glaring at him just a little bit, reach into her pouch, and she's going to pull out 3 gold, and she's going to drop them one by one.
Okay.
Into the bowl.
Okay. As this happens, you when you do this, you see those beams kind of shoot off from the light, from the candlelight, or from even the glow from some of the incense sticks, which are big and fat, and you can see that they're very much hand rolled, and they're stuffed down into like vases, fat bottom bellied vases that contain some impossibly fine salt or sand or something like that, or maybe even ash that these thick sticks are. And so the glow kind of pulses off of them, caresses over the coin, and sends it out. And when this happens, you notice that, yeah, indeed, some of these murals have changed. They're showing different scenes. And as you look at one, you look at it and you quite literally see a scene go from a figure stalking up the side of a dark shadowed alley building and slipping into a window, and then your eyes drop down to a scene below that appears to be some kind of back alley, low rent district, strumpet harlot. Some call them prostitutes, many call them whores. And you see that she's having some kind of midnight tryst, a tangle in the alley. And then you notice, almost your jaw kind of maybe goes a little bit slack as you notice a glint in the otherwise non-colored image that you're seeing. You're seeing shadowy outlines against tan, kind of sandy colored walls. And you see that glint just barely, as if just a dot of moonlight rested upon it. And then you realize what you're seeing as she drags the blade, grasping the back of the neck of this gentleman she was having a tryst with. She draws what you now see as being a small, thin, easily concealable blade across his throat. And for the first time, you now notice an actual dash of color. Because against the milky, inky, dark, shadowy figure, you see a simple, thin red line that looks an awful lot like blood. The blood drop, as it rolls down and disappears inside of his clothing, you can actually see the texture of the wall where this is happening, where this image is playing out. You see this female figure not drop the body, but let the body fall and kind of turn her body in such a way to guide it into some deeper shadows. And the shadow takes on the square edge of what you believe to be a box or a crate, some kind of storage object in the alley. All of you, things kind of slow down for you. It's almost like you're in like water or something. You're kind of, everything has gone super slow, and you notice that in the few seconds that's transpired of silence between Dreyfus and Talina, you notice that Talina is watching something intently on the wall. All the rest of you see is the dancing of the firelight, the glow of the incense and the fat belly pots. And that's all you see dancing between these drawings and paintings and reliefs on the wall. You see none of the movement. Talina, that figure, as she drops this body to the ground, guiding it behind what you believe to be a box, looks up and strangely enough looks in your direction. Not just like she's looking down the alley itself, but like she's distinctly looking out from this drawing or painting, distinctly looking out to you. Again, you see a glint of moonlight light up her dark, dark eyes. You don't really see much of the whites, and you can see this kind of smile in her eyes. And you think in your mind that if you were there, you'd be able to see the upturned edge of an overpainted lip, maybe a dusky hued powdered face with a little bit of rosé on the cheeks, that sort of thing. She turns, moves away, and as she goes around the edge of the building, the shadowed building, you once again see her stop for just a brief moment, and you see her again look back at you. This whole image for you is broken as you hear, yeah, see, you see what I'm talking about, little one? Like, right there, it seems that you may have just made yourself a friend. Maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't look a little too hard at things you're not supposed to see, Talina. And he takes his foot, moves his foot to the other side of the dish, and nudges it back over towards Regina, who's standing there with her ever-present large spoon. And you, little one, you got anything for the Lady of Shadows?
I could have something, I suppose. I'll reach into my pouch and I'll pull out 3 of my gold coins and I'll toss them into the bowl all at one time, making a bit of a loud racket.
Okay. As Regina levies the coins out of her hand and they fall to the bowl, no more sparkles come off of the coins. It's almost as if this was like a show put on for you, Talina, as a way of I don't know, assuaging your doubts, that sort of thing. Kind of like the schoolyard bully showing off how strong he is by his buddies sitting behind him, that sort of thing. The final movement of Dreyfus's toe scrapes the plate that is now just a few coins heavier towards the last remaining member of your party who hasn't contributed, hasn't given his tithe to the Lady of Shadows, and pushes it forward towards Belton the halfling. And you,
I dropped my coin pouch in last time. I was the first one to donate.
Yeah, but you didn't put coins in. You put in a pouch.
Oh. I don't have any more coins. That was all my money.
Well,
so we gave the pouch of the 200 gold to Talina, right?
How about you just open the pouch and drop the gold in?
I already donated that, though, Talina. That'd be rude to take it out.
Thank you for the 1,000 bits there, AFK. Super appreciate it, and I will put that to good use. I got myself a +10 for a roll tonight, guys.
TPK, guys, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the campaign.
So Dreyfus kind of sits back a little bit, cocks his elbows back, crosses his fingers, intertwines his fingers, crosses them over his very thin belly. And as he leans back, you can see the silken material that his clothing, his shirt is made out of. You can see it's got a lace drawstring moving up, kind of reminiscent of those pirate shirts that you often see at Renaissance fairs, that seems so out of place. This one is a dark, smoky gray, and you can see a very, very fine metallic shimmer underneath it between the laces. And when he leans back, you can see that he is indeed a very thin individual. But even in this position where you can see that his ribs kind of cup down into where his belly is at, you see him shift, and he does one of those belly dancer things where the muscles of his belly kind of wave across. And you can see that while he's thin indeed, he is very, very finely muscled. Everything about him once again kind of dances into your mind is the fact that there is definitely something very dangerous and a bit off-putting about this guy outside of the cheap Bronx accent.
I'm just gonna be standing staring at Talina with my hand open. Don't be stingy. You dropped in 3 coins.
See,
Because
this is what I like. You know, this here Belton fellow, he understands the way that this works, you know. You want information, you gotta pay for it.
Exactly. I'm entitled to part of the 200. Go ahead and give me 5 coins from that.
All right. I'll dig into where I placed the 200 gold and pull out 5.
Okay.
I'll go ahead. Now an even 20, and I'll drop them in.
All right. As you drop them in, you can see a bit of a glint in Dreyfus's eyes as each of the coins fall in. And you can see him kind of look up off to the side. And as the firelight plays across his face, each one of you roll me not a perception check because you see something odd about his face, but roll me a nature check.
God damn it.
Starting with Talina.
19.
Ooh, Belton.
9.
Regina.
I got a 10.
And Wiki.
13.
13. Talina, once again, your eyes having adjusted to the shadows that dance around in here, you all notice that Dreyfus's face seems a bit odd, a little bit strange, a little bit off, but you quickly put it out of your minds as some trick of the shadows, that sort of thing. And you let it pass just like so much water over a bridge or under a bridge. You let it pass out of your minds. But Talina, ever since these pictures began telling their tales and you've come to realize, Swarmzy, thank you for the 300 bits, my friend. We will put it to good use. As you notice the pictures, it kind of heightens your senses. And now, as you see these shadows play over Dreyfus's face, you also notice there's something odd there. As for a brief split second, just the twinkle of an eye, Belton, reroll.
Yes. I'll reroll right now?
It's up to you if you want to reroll your roll to see this.
Nah.
Okay, your next roll, you can go ahead and reroll it. So you, Talina, now notice upon his face that as the firelight and the glow that pulses off these fat, oh so sickly sweet incense sticks, you notice that his nose seems to elongate just a little bit. Where you saw a thin black line of a mustache on his upper lip, you now see just a little bit further back and away, you notice what appear to be longer strands of hair that are sticking straight out. You see that elongated nose kind of twitch, and the whole thing, and as his eye kind of flicks over as if he's looking at a scene on the wall, you see his impossibly dark eye has a red sheen to it. He all of a sudden seems extremely rat-like. And as you kind of look him up and down, your eyes meet just ever so briefly. And you get this distinct feeling that you're going to probably have issues with this individual. Something about him doesn't set you as right. Subsist Cyber, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Shauna, on your next roll there, Regina. Oh, that's, yeah, for Shauna. On the next roll, you get yourself a +10. You guys got to keep track of it, not me.
Thank you.
As your eyes meet, there's a twinkle of mischievousness, but just below that, go ahead and roll me an insight.
That would be a 10.
Okay, there's a bit of mischievousness in his eyes, and there's something underneath of it. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it sure as hell is not a bunny rabbit delivering an Easter basket in any way, shape, or form. There's something underneath, and it doesn't lend you any comfort, because as your eyes unlock and move away, you see the flick point of a very long rat-like tail wrapped behind him underneath the cushions. You are now looking at the first one you've ever seen. You all have heard of him. You have heard of him. It talked about in the deep shadows of taverns throughout this area, throughout the mid-realms, ever since you came into the coastlands of Amradal. This thing appears to be what's known as a Retherum.
Do we all notice this, or is it?
Nope, that's just Talina.
Okay.
So, little one, you seen enough?
Or no.
Good. Good. Glad to see that we could all be friends and get along. So you're asking me about this Magnus Longhaul, eh? Yeah, he's a rather impressive looking subject if you actually manage to come across him in a dark alley. It's not the type of guy you want to see. He's a mountain of a man. He's got a bit of a nickname. He's known as the Collector. I suppose you want a little bit more for your coin, huh?
Yeah, that's already what we know.
All right, okay. Yeah, he's known as the Collector. He's the head creature collector for Zaladin's Wandering Wonders and Circus of the Magnificent. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know why they keep calling that place it's got some wonders, but it ain't all that magnificent, you know.
What was that name again? You cut out for most of it.
Zaladin's Wandering Wonders and Circus of the Magnificent. I heard that they're just here for a few more weeks. I hear that they're heading on to points north, places like Cason's Cross, and I my cousin says there's quite the buzz going on up there around Kerrigan's Folly. In the Revian Highlands, that may be going, but yeah, most likely the way I understand is Magnus has he hires out for people to go out and collect things for him if he's a little short-handed. So that would be my bet. I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about. Not a whole lot of underhandedness. I'm pretty sure that Zaladin, if he's got other people to handle that sort of thing. So my bet would be that this is on the up and up. But hey, and he stretches out the foot again, taps the edge of the bowl, and this time when he taps the edge of the bowl, light again plays off something metallic at the edge of the bowl. But this time you notice that it's not the bowl itself. There seems to be a razor thin piece of metal that goes around the edge of the toe of the shoe or footwear that Dreyfus is wearing, as if a razor thin piece of metal was sewn between the sole of what he's wearing and the cloth or the leather above it. And you get to distinct it is definitely a razor. And the way it glints is it's almost as if he wants to make sure that everybody sees it. Now, I could tell you more. could find out more, but that would cost you a little bit more.
I think I'm satisfied for the moment. We at least know who he works for, and that he seems to be a straight shooter.
That is true. I don't feel like we need any more at this time. I do want to point out, though, that you have really lovely boots.
Yes.
They're very well made.
Thank you.
Did you get them made here in the city, or?
No, I didn't. No. And you notice as you begin to almost like with every question that you ask, like, did he get them made here in the city? You notice his foot lightly taps the bowl. Like it gives off the distinct air that you're not going to get anything else. That even asking him if he's hungry would cost you coin to get any more information out of him.
I'll give him a slight nod. We appreciate the services you've rendered to us. And if we have more questions, we'll be sure to come back.
Yeah, that sounds good. You know where to find me, Wiki. You know where to find me.
And I'll head out.
Okay. Everybody roll me an insight check.
That was better. 18.
So, Regina, what'd you get?
If I were to use my inspiration, it'd be a 24.
Okay. So you got a 24, Belton?
I got a 24. Can I save the reroll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wiki!
I got
8.
So everybody but Wiki, you guys get the distinct feeling that there is some kind of strange bond or connection between Elwick Wiki Wobblefizz, your gnomish cleric friend, and this Dreyfus individual. It's not like necessarily a bad thing, but there's something more under the surface. There have been times in the past 2 years since you pulled Wiki from the folds of the Vale up north. There's been times where you haven't always been together. There's been weeks and days and things like that where the group maybe split up doing other things and that sort of stuff. So there's definitely been points where Wiki could have gone off on his own and created contacts that you're not familiar with. P obliterated because we don't use Roll20. But you all definitely got the impression that there's something going on where Wiki has a little bit more of a relationship or past or history with Dreyfus.
I'm going to walk over to him as we're leaving and give him a little shoulder nudge with mine and ask him, hey Wiki, is there something you want to maybe tell me?
About what?
Your friend. You seem kind of close. In an unnatural kind of way, like you've hung out and done stuff, maybe.
Well, I've known him for a few weeks now. We've been friends for quite a while.
Friends doing what? Like what kind of friend things?
He's in contact with all kinds of people. Need information. This is the guy I go to.
Well, what do you believe about this person? And this is as we're walking away from the place, so that
I'm sorry.
we're
What was that?
towards our what was it? It was the clanking
Guild.
mug.
I'm sorry, Regina. I didn't hear your question. What was that?
Selena?
Talina. Sorry.
What do you know about this guy?
He works for Fressa, Lady of Shadows.
That's obvious. What else?
Not somebody you want to cross.
You do understand he is not what he seems.
I did say that as we were going in.
I understand there's a lot that he does that we don't understand, that we don't know about.
No, I mean literally, he is not what you see.
I mean, he's definitely more dangerous than he appears. I mean, you guys all saw the little belly dance. Like, I mean, that's not somebody that's just knows some information. That's somebody that could. That's a predator right there.
Yes, he's definitely. I wouldn't want to cross him under any circumstances, we'll just say. It would be a quick end.
Okay. What do you think he is?
Can I... Charles, am I aware of what Dreyfus is, or am I under the impression that he's...
No, you're not aware of what Dreyfus is or Dreyfus is. You're you see him as just being a human. From what you've seen, to you, he comes off as being either some kind of origin as far as the Dreve, the gypsy folk of the north. But there's other blood in him. But yeah, he comes off as being straight up a human, nothing else. Everybody roll me a perception check, though.
My pink dice are too bright.
All I needed was Swarmzy to give me a reroll, and now I roll great.
Woo!
So starting with Regina.
I rolled a 19.
Belton.
21.
Talina.
A not natural 20.
Wiki.
13.
So Belton and Regina, you both feel more than see something slip between you. You feel the wisps. At first it feels like a light finger's touch of a breeze, and then there's a little bit heavier to it that brushes into you like a fine velvet or a heavier cloth material that brushes. And you actually manage, Talina, when you look down, you can actually see something move across, almost like that kind of heat wave on a hot summer ground across your armor. You both also get the distinct feeling that this was intentional. You don't need to roll an insight, as you smell a very sweet, subtle, and enticing perfume as it moves by. Fingers oh so gently caressing both of your cheeks, lightly warming. Something about it calls to you and draws your attention inwards to where your eyes actually glance at each other as this thing passes by. I need a wisdom save from both Regina and Belton.
I'm gonna check my
Talina and Belton?
Or Regina and Belton, sorry.
So Shauna or Jeannie?
Regina and Belton.
Okay.
I thought it was me and...
That's me and you, homie. So I get to do this with advantage because it's magical, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Is this against being frightened?
No.
Okay. I got a 15.
I got 11.
As your eyes meet, this palpitation, this fluttering of your hearts begin to race as your eyes meet in the darkness overhang of the trees. The temple that is behind you melts away into the cool night breeze. You can smell that floral perfume
waft over you, and as your eyes meet, an almost strange longing develops. As Belton and Regina, you feel the uncontrollable burning passion begin to rise in your chest as your heart rate speeds up, your face goes flush, and you feel the need to embrace each other. You find yourself both madly in love with each other.
Well, that's good.
What kind of horse shit is this?
Yeah, I don't like this.
I'm gonna, in character, I'm gonna look at Belton with my big blue eyes, like I've never seen him in this light before.
And he's handsome. Belton strikes that Greek god handsomeness, standing there with his loincloth, his rippling halfling muscles, bathed in the moonlight in front of you, a great sword resting as his foot rests upon the fallen giant lion. It strikes such an image in your head, Regina.
I reach out with my left hand to almost touch fingertips against him, but then I pull back and put him to my mouth, kind of in that girly hee-hee kind of way, like I don't know what to do with myself.
No, I grab her hand as she starts to pull away. I pull it to my mouth and lay on a...
Regina, not Regina, but Talita and Wiki, you both in the dark shadows, you missed whatever it was that set these two to going, and I guess maybe in the past there might have been something. Talita, Wiki, roll me a history check. We're gonna look back in time to see if there's anything that could have possibly caused this romance to bloom. Talina, what'd you get?
19.
Oh, Wiki.
16.
Both of you can draw back to some different times. Maybe it was in the heat of battle, as you were fighting one of the great beasts that you have fought somewhere in the past. You can swear, Talina, that during the fight with the Banshee, that there was a point where Belton was saved by Regina, and just the way that Regina lifted Belton in her arms to pull him to safety, that there was a sparkle that connected the two. Wiki, you can remember back to when you guys fought wyverns, not back in the ruins, but the other time. You remember that there was, after the battle, as you guys were sorting treasure, splitting up coin, counting your loot, that there was a moment where they both reached down for the same glistening potion of healing, their thumbs touching. The potion was a glass vial that had an enameled red heart affixed to it. And as their hands grabbed that same vial, you remember their fingers oh so briefly entwining, and that same heated sparkle coming to their eyes, and their cheeks budding red, almost meeting, but then they shook it off. That's what the two of you remember, because right now, you can feel the brewing heat of the passion between Belton and Regina about to explode right here under this arching entangle of juniper branches. You look around, the temple entrance gone, and there's something hanging in the air. There's a different scent in the air, but you can't, and it fades like a night breeze blows in, and you can smell in the distance the wafting sea spray
that often wafts over the night air here in the Port of Storms in Stormhaven. And it wipes that away, so it's gone. But you can see as Belton has taken Regina's hand in his, you heard her give a young schoolgirl's squee as he placed his lips upon her hand. And the oddest scene is unfolding before you.
Why now, you two?
I'm
Why not
completely
now,
enamored.
Why not now?
Why
How
here?
many times have we come so close to death? We might not get another chance.
Seriously. Right now. We're in the middle of a conversation. And you two just boop.
Sometimes love is
Let's
just
just
meant
get
to be,
back to the
Talina.
end.
Don't you understand? It
Exactly.
just has to be.
Who knows?
Okay.
All I know is that I want to be with Regina. And I will entwine my fingers with yours.
Okay. Since you're falling in love, whatever, can we at least keep on a conversation?
What were we talking about again? I got lost in your eyes.
I don't remember. What was going on, huh? I just kinda
As they're
look at it.
talking, I'll turn and look around. Has anybody seen Cedric? Didn't he wait outside?
I'm sure he's around here somewhere. And I'm still going to be staring at Regina.
As Wiki brings up the missing Cedric, it does briefly pass into both your minds, Belton and Regina, but nothing could quaff, nothing could bear enough strength to cease and put out that burning passion, that love that's in your hearts. But you, Wiki, and you, Talina, definitely recognize that Cedric is nowhere to be found. You left him standing, his back pressed up against one of the juniper trees, him saying something about, "I don't really feel comfortable in there, so I'm going to stand out here." He rested his back against the juniper tree, and you can see where the juniper tree is at, where he was resting his back. You can see the scuff of where his boots were on the hard earthen ground of this park. And you do realize now that you are indeed standing in a park. You're at the front edge of a trail, maybe 5 feet off of what appears to be a fairly busy thoroughfare moving throughout this portion, this particular quarter of Stormhaven. You notice that he's not there. Nothing seems too strange, and Belton and Regina are completely lost in each other's eyes. But you two have noticed that, yeah, he's definitely no longer there. But you can see where he was standing just a few short moments ago.
Perhaps
Maybe
he
he
went back to the
the-
Gilded Nymph.
Exactly.
I'm sure that's what happened. What were we doing here again?
Never mind. Let's just go back to the end.
Alrighty, so we'll go over that conversation again sometime later. Okay.
Where are we going?
Back to the inn. Let's
Okay.
go. Come on, you
Back to
two.
the inn.
So you're going to kind of, everybody's going to kind of turn, and I don't know how Wiki and Talina, I don't know how this strikes you, but as you turn and begin to walk, Belton and Regina eagerly take the lead in front of you, their eyes still mixed, their hands holding each other's, and they walk entirely and uncomfortably close. You could almost, they're close enough that you could almost picture a nun at a temple dance coming between them, saying things such as leave room for the Lords of Light, and pushing them apart. But they are shoulder to shoulder, hands held ever so gently and tightly, leading the way out. They are lost for all intents and purposes. They are gone. They're swimming in each other's of love and passion. Wiki and Talina, both roll me a perception check as you begin to exit away from the park and out onto the streets. Talina, what'd you get?
6.
Wiki.
5.
5.
Ouch. So the pair of you, or the four of you, oblivious to anything, it's odd that Cedric's not here, but you don't see anything that particularly reminds you or draws your eye. It's very possible that he had business that he got involved in, or he might have just gotten bored and headed back to the inn, which is exactly where the four of you are heading off towards. Wandering the streets the entire time, Regina, Belton, you find yourselves constantly just aglow, awash in each other's love, the bond strengthening with each step. And in front of you, by this immaculate old European styled 2-story building, the lower end awash in painted pink rock. 2 stories, you see a building known as the Captured Lovers. The building itself doesn't draw your attention all too much, but the figure standing outside with brush in hand, palette in the other, has just got done doing a very fast painting of 2 young human half-elven lovers, maybe in their early 20s, late teens. They giggle, and their giggle, being infectious to both you and Belton, cause you to giggle likewise. And you see an opportunity to capture your love forever. And the artist kind of looks back, and you can see a swath of colors on his palette in the brush in his hand. And he smiles, looking out at you as you guys come within a few feet of him. You can see this heart-shaped backed bench. It's wood. The wood itself tinted a rose color. The back of it colored with this, or carved with this giant rose-colored, almost not really rose, more of a dark red heart. And you can see hands coming together, entwined on top of it. A smile goes across his face. Well, looky here. We have 2 lovebirds. I can see it so easily upon your faces. Love has embraced you. It warms my heart. I have not seen love like this in so long. Please come, for but a silver. I will paint your portrait together and capture forever this wonderful night, this blooming and blossoming love.
I am going to spin very quickly and look at Talina. I need more money.
Am I your mother?
No, but you have all the gold right now. Just 1 silver. That's all I need. Right, Regina? We need to get our paintings painted. Money. Now, come
we
on.
do. Talina, please.
Come on, please.
Talina,
Just 1 silver.
just one.
1 silver.
All right. Oh,
I've been your best friend for years. Yes.
I'll
And I'll
toss
kind
it
of
at him.
dash over and give him the silver piece Talina just gave me.
Oh, so wonderful. Yes, come. Sit. And he scoots you over to the bench, gets you set in the bench, turns back around to the canvas. You see him put up a new canvas, lock it into place on this easel that he has. He begins mixing paints, looks over. Oh, it's such a beautiful sight. And he looks over at both Talina and Wiki. You can see his eyes a sparkle in a blaze. And something catches you as off because his eyes, the irises of his eyes are literally shaped. The right one is actually shaped in the shape of a heart. It almost gives you the willies. He looks over at you two, and you two next. Are you the next lovebirds to get your portrait done?
No,
Not a
no,
chance.
definitely not.
Oh, come, let love embrace you. It's such a wonderful thing. Can I not entice you? I will, half off.
No.
But you're such a lovely couple.
We are
We're
not a couple. We are friends, not a couple.
And I'll take like a couple steps away from Selena as he says.
Ah, not everybody finds love. And he spins around and he begins to paint kind of, and he's doing it. The portrait itself is not at all bad, but it's not super quality. You can tell it reminds you of one of those carnival, like super fast sketch guys with the heavy marker and all that sort of thing. So it's got a bit of a cartooniness, but over the next 5 minutes or so, an image appears that I'm not sure how you feel about it, because you see this face of Regina, bright, glowing, a little bit too much makeup, and you see her bent to the side, blushing, and you see Belton leaning over, his arm over her shoulder, pulling her in, very Gone with the Wind-esque, placing the softness of kisses upon Regina's rosy cheeks. And as you kind of are looking at this, you kind of lean a little bit to the side, and he is painting what you are seeing in front of you. I will get to the follows, bits, and all of that at our first break. Thank you. You see Belton placing the softest kiss, and you can see that quite honestly, Belton is not that experienced, because he's got his lips almost like a 19-year-old California Valley girl, just all fished up for the selfie, placing them on. And as he pulls his lips away, you can see his lips have got extra moisture, like he licked his lips before he went in for it. And he pulls away. There's this little bit of a string of drool that drapes, breaks away. Very, very, very teenage, behind the bleachers on prom night sort of thing. And as this painter gets done, with a flourish, she signs it off. And you see this picture of this kiss happening with this great big heart behind it and moonlight lining down on it. And he takes the canvas, spins it around, and he shows it to you, Talina, and to you, Wiki. Can you not see? Love is in the air. Are you sure I cannot entice you two lovebirds to come get your portrait done?
No.
No.
He spins around, kind of like, oh, like, it's such a shame. So you two, you lovebirds, come here. Let Antis show you this magnificent portrait. This painting that captures, and he spins it around. And Regina and Belton, you have never seen anything that talked to your hearts more than this outside of each other. He has caught the essence of your love. Regina, you swoon when you see this. The handsome, chiseled face of Belton Cobblepot, the halfling sorcerer, the love of your life. And you both kind of fall into each other, and the four of you make your way back to the inn. You make your way back to the Gilded Nymph. And when you arrive back at the Gilded Nymph, there's quite the crowd going on inside the nymph itself. You can hear many voices. There, strangely enough, though, is no bards on this particular night. But you can hear plates and people talking and chatter and laughter and that sort of thing as the great courtyard of the Gilded Nymph opens up before you. You can see wagons, you can see carts, you can see horses. The great triple-domed white building rising up with the pattering of stars above and behind it. You can smell that deep ocean salt smell and fish smell that's so common in Stormhaven. And then this begins to mix with all the foods that are being made inside. The smell of ales and wines and more incense and the crackling of fires and the roasting of beasts and bubbling of stews. You can hear laughter and chattering there, and almost as if on cue, you see Grillmesh Farwalker, the Furbolg waiter that has become sort of your guys' butler. His great, enormous shoulders kind of lurch like leaning out through the double door wide archway that leads in. And for the first time, you actually realize the doors are always open. And you can see the gilded nymph kind of portraits on the stained glass and all that, but the doors never ever seem to be closed. You've come here at 4 o'clock in the morning. This place is always agape, yawning and open, welcoming to whoever may want to come. And Grillmesh stands there in the doorway, and as he sees the four of you approach, he gives off this, like he's going to say something or welcome you, and then when his eyes fall upon Regina and Belton walking along in front of you, their giggling closeness, their whispering in each other's ears, the blushing of their faces, his head falls off to the side with a rather confused look over his face. You can see that his dark hair tinged with green and spiked a little bit with grays is pulled back into a woven ponytail. Arnia, who is kind of his girlfriend, you don't know her last name, but you've seen her a few times. She's actually a quite stunning Furbolg in and of herself. You can tell that whenever his hair is done in such a way that she's been about. So while you've been gone, he's also maybe been experiencing love, but that does not obviously ease his discomfort at seeing Regina and Belton's all of a sudden closeness, something he's never seen before. He steps forward. My lords, my ladies, welcome back. And he pulls out from inside of his top coat a small tube, maybe 8 inches in length. It's leather clasped with a metal hook upon it. This arrived while you were gone, just a few short moments ago. I believe it is of interest to you. Regina, Belton, you two are lost. You're not really, you don't care. The only thing you care about is each other. And when your eyes land on this grand estate known as the Gilded Nymph, you remember that there is always unattended open rooms within the inn. Your hearts begin to patter at the temptation, begin to race. Regina, you have to fan yourself at the thought of getting lost in the strong Greek statue-like muscular arms of Belton. You feel so waifish as you just want him to take you and whisk you away to that fantasy world that's playing almost too risque in your mind's eye. What do the two of you, Regina and Belton, do?
So are we still in the lead?
You are, you're still in the lead. You're kind of aware of this large blocky shadow that would be Grillmesh, but you're not. Who cares?
oh, that's really good. And I'm just going to lead her in.
All right.
I'm so choked up, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you see, literally almost you see Regina skip. Now, keep in mind, Regina has always been one of the two backbone, get down in the mud, the blood, and the guts. She's like one of the Duke boys. She slides over the hood of General Lee and cracks ogres and wyverns and the undead in the face with her giant spume of doom. You've never seen this gnome skip. You've never seen, except for that one time, the possibility of love. And she is oh so lightly kind of skipping, giggling, leaning her head in against Belton, grabbing onto his belt so not to get lost. As he leads her and they disappear inside the gilded nymph, Grillmesh looks at them, this look of unabashed confusion upon this great Furbolg face, as he kind of looks and watches the two of them skip, giggling, glancing each other past into the gilded nymph and disappear, his head slowly turning back to the two of you. And when he turns back, his eyes look at you as if he's expecting to see the same thing. And a great sigh escapes his lips when he realizes that at least Talina and Wiki have not lost their damned minds. Talina,
Walk up to him.
Wiki, Lord Wobblefizz, this message came for you. I believe it is of some import. Beware, though, because I believe that there are ensorcelments upon this, but I cannot for the life of me remember who delivered it. Just and he kind of looks kind of off to the side. Shadow delivered it to me not but a half hour ago. And he holds it up and kind of with these great flared nostrils takes in a heavy inhale on it. Yes, there is magic upon it, but I do not believe that it is harmful. It's meant, I believe, for prying. And he kind of looks back when he says the words prying eyes and looks back towards the opening to the inn. And you can see thoughts beginning to roll across this grand Furbolg's eyes as he turns back. Speaking of prying eyes, I must make sure that those two are not. Are they? And the idea washes over Grillmesh that Regina and Belton are about to get up to the foppish frisky, as it's sometimes referred to. They're about to get down to the dag nasties. And you, Talina, remember a particular image on those dark, dancing, artful walls of two people involved in a tryst in a dark tavern. And it sends chills because when you first saw it, they were human size. Now as it replays in your mind, you are seeing a gnome and a halfling.
Is anybody else getting the robot noise off of Chuck? Or is that just
No.
me?
Just you.
Okay.
Just you.
Just you.
No, am I good in it?
So, and you can see this as it washes over him, or washes over you. You now see those human-sized bodies replaced by images of, it's silhouetted, but definitely a naked Regina and Belted locked in this love tryst of the wee ones. And it burns into your mind. And As this comes over Grimelsh's, his hand snaps forward, handing out the scroll tube to you. I must. Oh my! Are they?
Grab
As you take it, he turns and with long strides, not skipping. There's a definite angst and worry and urgency to his moves as he just about bowls over two patrons that are kind of stumbling out, both of them dressed kind of as seamen. Not a joke, no joke and pundit boatmen, as they're dressed as sailors would be dressed. As sailors would be dressed. He bumps into him. Watch where you going, you big bastard! And one of them's kind of sloshing a mug, and you see a dark, frothy liquid come out as they right themselves and walk off. Talina and Wiki are sitting there, moonlight dancing around across the courtyard, glinting off the bit of a clasp mechanism that's on this. And when your hands, who grabs it? Did you grab it, Talina?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You can feel. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana.
I don't think that's gonna do it. 7.
No, you don't feel nothing.
Zoom.
But
Stop.
you do feel at the very back of your mind a bit of a dullness, kind of move forward and then fall a bit away from you. As you hold the scroll tube. It's cold in your grasp. It's leathery. It's a supple leather, but it's definitely cold in your grasp.
Something wrong, Talina?
I don't know. Here, you hold this for a moment.
I'll
As,
take it from her.
as you move it towards Belton, as a breeze kicks up, a strange aroma mixes in with the sea air. Go ahead and roll me a nature check, both of you. You can smell it.
17.
18.
You both this smell, and it directly comes off of this scroll tube, off the scroll case. And it's a smaller one. It's about 8 inches. A couple different smells waft up off this, but the main one is that of a wet dog. You smell this very musky, earthy, wet fur smell, and then very much a pine wood essence underneath that note, earth underneath that note. And there's something else there, but you can't quite pick it out. But there's a familiarity with this scent.
What
Can I
kind of
try the place
familiarity?
where I...
Go ahead,
we've
yeah, go
done
ahead
this
and roll.
before?
Go ahead and roll me a history.
Because I know what's coming to my mind, and I'm hoping that's not the connection. You said history?
Yes.
Okay, 17.
17.
17.
You both, almost at the identical same time, your minds roll back to a little over 2 years ago. A clearing awash in blocked moonlit clouds. A battle that you had with a particular werewolf. And the point where the story began, where the four of you at that time, 5 because Cedric's not apparently here, that point in time, you were hunting down whoever it was that stole the crystalline coffin, the encasement of magical glass that was meant for Adrolphus, Master Adrolphus. You eventually found that in the small wooded village of Snipes Hollow. And this led you into direct confrontation with a great gypsy werewolf. His daughter, his son, another mutated son, and a battle for that coffin and for other things. Battered, bruised, bloodied, and barely hanging on, the battle ended with his daughter dying, the young child, a werewolf but nasty. Belton still carries on his chest a scar where this fiendish little beast launched through the air, attached herself to him, her small wolfen frame biting through his clothing and his flesh and tearing a chunk out of his chest. Belton still remains with that scar to this day. You left great bloody gashes on the werewolf king. You never actually figured out or found out what his name was, but as he exited and disappeared into the night, carrying the now dead corpse of his daughter, he swore vengeance upon you and yours. That image plays across your minds as that scent hangs heavily on this scroll tube. Whether it's because it's been ensorcelled or because it's just something that brings it back to you, you're not sure. But that is definitely the impression that you now get.
I don't like the memories that this smell brings back.
Me neither. Although it was when we first met, which is not bad, but the fight with those werewolves was not fun.
Can I inspect the tube for anything that might look like a trap, arcane trap of some kind, or
Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
it's a natural 20.
Wow.
Damn.
You don't find anything other than 2 lightly fading runes on the end cap pieces to this small casement that actually folds open. The clasp undoes and folds open, so it's on the end caps. And they are fading, and that could possibly be the ensorcelment that Grimalsh was talking about. Talina, as Wiki is focusing on this, go ahead and roll me a perception check, if you would.
18?
18. You notice out of the corner of your eye, something is standing at the edge entrance to the great archway that enters into the courtyard. You see a figure standing there. You see a very long object held in his hands. And as he puffs on it, you realize that it is what is known as a piperum. It is a kind of pipe that is fond of being used by the Dravet. And you see it dance out a glow. And in the night sky, there's a fairly sizable moon in the air, so enough light is there. You can pick out the clothing, not the facial features, but you can definitely pick out the clothing of a person standing there, long and lean, kind of supple in his movements as he pulls away from the wall. He bows forward, his finger touching the tip of a hat. The hat is very wide brim and low set, and you realize that he is dressed very much in the gypsy stylings of the Dravet. He tips his hat not to anybody else but you and Wiki, as Wiki's looking at this marking on this tube. He spins and disappears around the wall. A name comes to your mind. Palvin Adroos. Palvinadroos. The Wolf King.
We're having a solid day. God damn it.
Well, Wiki, I think we're in trouble now.
Did I see him as well, or was this something that she saw?
Just Talina.
What kind of trouble? What'd you see?
Do you remember Palvin Adroos?
Yeah, he almost ate me.
Yeah, that's Probably just from. I just saw somebody over there that was dressed very similar to the Dreve.
Well, then I suppose we need to find out what the message is about then. Can't be anything good.
Hopefully get Regina and Belton to do something other than look at each other fondly.
Yes, I suppose we should get them. We need to find Cedric, too.
Yes, that would be good.
I was hoping he was here as well. I'll head towards that, kind of in the same direction that Belton and Regina went in.
All right. So, what exactly are? It's obvious that Regina and Belton are predisposed. Whatever or wherever this blazing fire of passion came from, you're not sure, but it's there, and you know that the odds of interrupting that might be slim to none. Wiki and Talina, the night. It wasn't night when you went to go see Dreyfus. It was actually early evening when you went to go see him. More time passed in that temple than what should have. This thought passes in and out of your head, something more to add to Dreyfus's temple and the Lady of Shadow. But as you two enter in, you see a tap room, a grand tap room filled with easily 100 to 150 patrons. Your minds can go wild with the types of beings you see here. Elves, dwarves, half-elves, Dreve, Furbolg. Over in the corner, you see a heavily tattooed Goliath sitting, talking to what seems to be a heavily tusked half-orc. A dwarf, and what appears to be a goblin. You see a few other patrons, some that you've seen before, that sort of thing. But yeah, the night is beginning to bear down a little bit heavy. What are the two of you going to do?
I'm going to head towards our usual booth and kind of motion to Grommesh as I head there.
Okay.
Oh, he took off, dude.
Yeah, Grummish is gone. He went in to make sure that the last you remember hearing him say was talking about making sure that the room that Regina and Belton were going to use is secured so that they're not disturbed.
We'll still go to our normal table, though.
Okay, the pair of you slide into your normal table. Belton, Regina, the passion is legendary. The fire is as grand and heated as the breath of the oldest and most powerful of dragons. The entire room melts away. The last thing you remember was a huffing and puffing Grommesh the Furbolg doing his butler duties as he swerved you off away from one room down a very long hall to a sweet-smelling back corridor. He entered you into this great grand chamber. Incense sweet, the finest of silk sheets. You didn't even notice that this room was strangely in the shape of a heart. A grand bed in the center of the room. You see Grommesh reach over and pull a lever, and you hear these gears begin to, and then they finally go away as the softest, most graceful harp music you've ever heard begins to softly play out of this horn-like thing in the wall. The bed, this great heart-shaped bed with the softest pillows and silk. As you get upon it, your blazing passion and lust brewing, the bed begins to slowly spin.
It's the wedding suite.
The ceiling opens up, and this great ball comes down. You can see hundreds of these perfectly and immaculately carved glass hearts, pink and red, as the ball itself begins to spin, sending off this dancing, shimmering light. And that as it hits the walls, thousands of hearts begin to move almost in perfect rhythm with the harp, and then from the other room, this slow thrumming drum. This boom, 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 boom. As you both get lost in each other's passion. The things that happen between the two of you for the rest of the night will forever be burned into your mind's eye, into your very souls as your passion flames. You hear this almost embarrassing sigh, this embarrassed sigh of, oh, come out of Grillmesh as he exits the room. You hear several locks and then a slight panel open. I trust you do not need a safe word. The Cirque code next to the door. Jangle it a couple of times, and I will come and release you. Oh, and he slides it shut. Talina, Wiki, the night draws on. What are you guys going to do for the rest of the evening?
Gonna get myself some wine.
Oh yeah, well, most
Dinner.
definitely, most definitely.
After all that, you need more than wine.
Yeah, you need some mind bleach.
No, you guys need the bleach. We're fine. We're not imagining quite that much. When Grillmesh comes back around, I'm going to ask him if he has seen Cedric.
Grillmesh eventually exits down in to the tap room and makes his way over towards your guys' booth. You can see it because you haven't drawn the curtains, but you can see that the Grillmesh looks a little paler than normal. You can see that the green that usually tinges the edges of his skin is a bit lighter and more of a puke color than a nature color. You can see as he moves through the crowd, people reaching out to him, "Hey, you big bastard, bring me," and he just ignores everybody. As he closes in on your booth, you can see him stop for just a second, put a finger to his lips, and kind of does one of these. And he comes over. When he comes over, he does something you've never seen him do ever before. Wiki, you have a brand new, completely filled glass chalice of fine elven wine. Until Grillmesh's hand moves over, grabs it, and in one solid quaff, the wine disappears. He sets it down on the table, dribble of wine coming out of his mouth. Oh my. You would not believe what I have just witnessed.
I don't think I want to know.
I don't think I want to.
And I'll pour him another glass of wine.
And he quickly, without any hesitation, pulls the glass up, quaffs it down again, and puts it down. Thank you, my lord. I don't know what's come over to those two, but... Is there anything else I could get you before I turn in?
Have you seen Cedric?
And again, he gets lost in thought, strokes his long, pointed goatee. I cannot recall if I've seen him. No, I have not. Where is he? And he kind of begins to scan the tap room and looks to the door. No, I have not seen him.
Strange for him to be out this late, but I suppose he could have business. He wouldn't bring it here.
With who we saw outside when we showed up, maybe someone else got hold of him. This may be very bad.
Should we look at that note now, or should we wait for the
Don't
other?
wait. We don't know how long those two will be.
And I'll pull out the note. Go to open it.
All right, you swing open the latch. You hear the supple leather kind of shift rather than creak, as apparently some of the glue, whatever bonding agent was used to do this, opens up. When you open it up, all you see inside is a small piece of what appears to be parchment, maybe just an inch shorter on each side than the scroll tube itself. You can see a dark coloring to it. A thin, crimson silken string holds it shut.
I'll turn and hand it to Lena. You sense anything strange off of this? I don't want to.
Go ahead and
trigger
roll me a
anything.
perception check.
$11.
Nah, you don't pick up on anything on it whatsoever. Like I said, all that's in there is about a 6-inch long piece of parchment that's wrapped in like a tube shape and enclosed by that silky red cloth. You can see that there's a darker tone overall to the piece of parchment itself.
It seems okay.
Let's open it up. Find out what this is all about.
So which one of you is actually going to open it up? And how are you going to open it up? Are you going to pull the piece of parchment out of the case? Is that a setup question or what?
No, I thought Wiki had it. And
No, he
was
handed you the
opening it.
case. He handed you the case.
Oh. Okay. Well, I will actually set it down on the table. And I'm going to use, because it's got like a seal on the end, right?
No, the seal's faded. On the case
So
itself.
does it have just a plug on the end or something?
No, it folds. There's a latch and it folds open. It folds up and open.
Okay.
Remember those ones we got at Michael's that one year?
Yeah.
Similar to that. So the inside of it is the tube piece of parchment that's been rolled up and tied.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna slowly open it. I'm
Are you going to
a
pick
little
it?
nervous
Are you
because
going
I
to pick
don't
it up
trust.
out of the case?
I will use my dagger to slide it under the ribbon and pull that out of the
When you
case first.
slide the tip of your dagger into it, the tip of your dagger hits something inside the parchment.
I'll still pull it out.
So as you so you're going to lift the parchment up and kind of pull it with the tip of your dagger. As you do this, there's an unfamiliar weight in this rolled up piece of parchment. And as you pull it up, it shifts a little bit towards you, and you can see that there is something inside the parchment. As you begin to pull it, Wiki, your jaw drops, because flopping out of it, and you're the first to see it, appears to be a thick, meaty, severed thumb. And that is where we are going to take our first break for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Forged at the Table. I'm Charles, your Dungeon Master. We're all about the tabletop. Let's play some games. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Please stick around for the fun to come. All right. We're going to be at break for another minute or two, ladies and gentlemen. Please stick around. I would like to take this moment to thank AFK 2P for the 1,000 bits again, Swarmzy for the 300 bits, and once again, Subsist Cyber for the 1,000 bits. I would also like to thank and welcome P Obliterator, Top Tabling, and Material Components for the brand new follows. Welcome to Forged at the Table. Welcome to our unique and yes, sometimes dysfunctional family. We super appreciate it. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. And do some more internet funds. We all back. Did you miss us? Anyways, I'd like to take this moment to thank all of you for coming and hanging out with us tonight. This is Forged at the Table. I'm your Dungeon Master, Charles. These magnificent people here that you see in front of you are the players, and of course, you're the viewers. Let me just bounce here really quick and get some things out there. I want to get some stuff mentioned. The big thing about our channel is we're all about building a community that facilitates tabletop role-playing games. And what I mean by this is that you, as a follower or a subscriber, can get involved in live games on here. Right now, we have 40 people on our channel right now that are followers and subscribers that are all getting involved in various games ran by myself or ran by our newest Dungeon Master, Stump-O-Matic. We are currently in talks with, I believe, 4 or 5 new individuals that have expressed an interest of DMing here on the channel. So we will have spots. I've got spots on a Monday one-shot and a Thursday one-shot. That Thursday one-shot super special. Hope I can get it filled. So yeah, all you need to do is drop a follow on us or a subscription and get involved over on our Discord channel that Firehawk just was so kind enough to post up there. Get involved, let us know. For players, it's really, really simple. If you want to get involved in playing here, drop the follow or a subscription. And just keep your ears open over on our Discord or on our Twitter, which you can see below the map right there. And I will be announcing whenever there are openings. They are for followers and subscribers only, preference given to subscribers. Like I said, we currently have 40 people. My goal is within the next 4 or 5 months that we have 100 of you playing in various shows. We've got Star Wars coming up. We got Call of Cthulhu coming up. We got Blades in the Dark coming up. We got some Buffy and Doctor Who, some Supernatural. We have a ton of stuff coming up over the next several months here on the channel. Yes, we're new, but we are fast growing. Please, come on, let's play some games. It's that simple. So, where we left off, Talina and Wiki, you two were both Xanatos BK. Thank you for the follow. Talina and Wiki, you were both sitting in the booth. The velvet curtains have been pulled shut as the nauseated looking Grillmesh, your butler. He's most of the time like a maitre d' type person to the actual tap room itself. But in the past month or so that you two, or you four at 1.5, we don't know where Cedric's at, came to start hanging out here at the Gilded Nymph. This individual has become your butler. You've been here for roughly the past 6 months. You now find yourself in the booth, your jaws open, a gasp exiting from Wiki. As Wiki, you see this meaty, thick thumb with a band of black iron wrapped around it right at the base knuckle. It's been severed, and it hasn't been severed cleanly. It's been severed roughly, more as if it was ripped off the hand that it once belonged to. You can see that black ring, and you've seen that black ring many, many times. It indicates, first off, that it's a signet ring that belongs to a dwarf you're very familiar with. That is a ring that you've seen for the past couple years, Cedric, your dwarven friend, wearing. His thumb is now inside the casing that the scroll came in. Talina, you can see Cedric's mouth, not Cedric, but Wiki's mouth kind of drop open and a gasp escape. His eyes getting larger. And you can see that there's serious worry, fear, and that sort of thing mixing in his eyes. As you're looking at him, you hear something kind of thick and meaty plop into the case and rock the case a little bit as you pull the little piece of parchment that's inside. When you grab it, you feel moisture on the fine parchment as it's a bit soggy on the underside. Your eyes kind of are fixed, though, transfixed on Wiki's mouth agape and this look of almost growing terror on his eyes.
Do I see where he's looking?
Yeah, he's looking down at the case. Your eyes were your eyes were kind of fixed on the parchment, bringing the parchment out, looking for traps, anything like that. And then you hear the gasp come out of Wiki's mouth. Your eyes come up to see his face, and you can trace the line with his eyes back down to the scroll case itself.
Slowly lower.
Hold on. We got robots. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
I'll slowly lower my eyes to where he's looking at, to where I heard it kind of, that piece hit.
Okay, we got it, subs. We got it, fire. When your eyes trace the line from Wiki's down to the case, and your eyes rest on this grayed, blood-stained, thick, meaty thumb. And your eyes trace down, and you can see the end piece of it. It's like right where the bottom knuckle, the thick knuckle, where it attaches to the hand, and it hasn't been severed by fine hands or by blade or anything like that. It's as if literally somebody grabbed onto it and ripped with great strength the thumb off. You can actually see the bloody, meaty part, a bit of the bone, and you can see places where there's stringy bits of tendon and flesh that are hanging where it was stretched when it was torn off of his hand. And you can almost hear in your ears, in your mind, a scream erupt out of Cedric's mind, because you see his signet ring, the ring of his order, sitting there in that small scroll case.
She's gonna stand there in shock for just a minute.
Regina Belton, the bed's just barely big enough to contain your passion, but the room itself is not big enough to contain the fury of your blazing love, because on several instances, people in the adjoining rooms have pounded on the wall. Hey, you! Keep you down in there! Please, my God, by the 9 hells, give it a rest, you two! Oh, you're ruining my mood! You've heard people, different voices. These rooms get used fairly often for these kinds of acts. So the bed is contained. You have flopped around, sweat and passion entwining your naked bodies. The cover's drenched. There's these strangest thing that you began to understand. It's not quite a waterbed, but it's like a flowing memory foam underneath of it. So you guys have tumbled and been lost in embrace, but the bed's kept you. But the moans, the grunts. There was one point there where on one of the side tables there that Regina, in a fit of passion, went to grab a table and knocked over a great metal voice that went ringing on to the floor, rolled up against the wall and banged against the wall. And that's when you heard a heavy fist. Hey, you in there! Keep it down! What are you? Enough of this! I can't. And you heard heavy footfalls thump through the room next to you. This drags on through the night. All of these people complaining. They obviously don't understand your passion and your love as you're lost in each other. Back downstairs. For an instant, Wiki and Talina, you think you hear a high-pitched, excited squeak sound that matches Regina's voice. You both grab for the drinks on the table and try to douse away the memory. And your eyes still locked, both of them, both your sets of eyes on the thumb. You're holding on the edge of the dagger, the soaked, soggy parchment. You have yet to open it, your eyes focused in on Cedric's severed, meaty, torn thumb.
After taking a hefty drink of my alcohol, I'll cut the ribbon.
You cut the ribbon and unfold the piece of wet parchment. Yes, it's stained with blood. You see bits and pieces of hair in there as well, as if Cedric, his head, maybe the image of his head drooped forward as they grabbed his thumb, and with a great bestial strength, ripped the thumb and some of Cedric's beard off as well. The matted blood and hair from Cedric's there. The only thing that is on this piece of parchment is a single skull done in crude black ink with a dagger sunk into it.
It doesn't give us a whole lot of information. Can I recognize the symbol at all?
No. It's very, very nondescript. You got to remember, you guys have only been in this area for about 6 months. It's very, very, very nondescript. It's just literally a crude, like pirate style skull, you know, with like the teeth markings, hollow orbits of eyes, and a dagger that's just crudely into the head and out the bottom. No blood, no nothing. That's all it is.
Can I take a shot at remembering or ever seeing this and what it means?
Hold on, I got break. Yeah, and I'm gonna be fighting this all night long. Now, what was that?
Can I take a shot at I've ever seen this before or know what it means?
Okay, can just remain quiet for a second. I'm gonna restart the audio. Go ahead.
So I was hoping to find out if I know from past experience or having seen this before, if I know what it is and what it means.
No.
Damn.
Have you seen this before, Talina?
No, I don't know if this means he is dead or if he is held hostage or what the deal is.
Gonna need more information on it. I certainly don't want to bother my friend again this soon. I don't have enough money.
Let's ask the others. Well, tell them to put some clothes on or whatever.
So
You want to try to do that?
Yeah. What are the pair of you going to do?
At this point, I think I'm going to drink more wine and head for my room.
Okay, at this point in time, the two of you have drank enough alcohol. I need constitution checks from you.
Probably failed them on purpose,
Fun.
guys.
Plus 2. Does 13 work?
What'd you get,
Oh.
Wiki?
Non-natural 20.
Okay. As you guys begin to stand up, Wiki, you seem to be handling the alcohol quite well, but Talina, you are, as you stand up, that feeling of the alcohol rushing, your blood thinning, you're just kind of, you see Talina woozy slide back and go unconscious in the booth, a heavy rumbling snore emitting from it. What are you going to do, Wiki? It's obvious that probably nothing's going to happen on this particular night, but you can always go upstairs and try and get Regina and Belton if you want.
At this point, I think I'm just going to head towards my room. Call it good.
All right, so you're gonna leave to Talina, kind of pull the velvet curtain.
Do I see? Yeah, pull the velvet curtains.
Okay,
close.
yeah, the booths are actually quite.
Leave her.
Yeah, they're quite comfortable. I mean, it's quite amazing. Belton, Regina, your passion ignites like a blazing fire in the darkest of night, roaring between you, your sticky, sweaty, naked bodies, flesh, entwined hair, stick, wet, matted together. Hours passed. Epic memories to be burned into your minds forever. But even the energies of passion can't continue forever. And night creeps in and takes you off to a la land of dreams filled with each other in hundreds of locations. Belton, way back in Trellis, do you remember breaking around in a library? And you remember finding this book called The Ways of Kumatra, a southern book that was filled with all of these images of these horned creatures, humanoids making love, all these different shapes and positions. Your stomach actually got nauseated perusing it. But you think as night comes and grabs you and your eyes go heavy, a smile crosses your lips because you believe that on this night, you and the love of your life, Regina, have discovered some things that were left out of that book.
God.
You damn Skippy we did.
Regina, Belton, please both roll me a wisdom check, a wisdom save, please. Regina, you have advantage.
Connor, do you have your reroll still if you need it?
I have it, yes. And like I said before, I haven't rolled below like a 13 since Stormy gave it to me. I just rolled a 19, so with my +2, that's 21.
Regina, what did you roll?
I have rolled a 13.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Regina, sometime this week you're going to have to check your character sheet because I will put down on your character sheet the ramifications of what has just transpired. But in the best George Takei voice that I can muster, all I can say is, oh my. You fall asleep in the arms of the greatest lover that has ever strode upon the oh so soft surface of Aethelm. You fall asleep curled in his muscular halfling arms. the sweat drying as you turn just a little bit. You can feel your flesh stuck together with a salty, drying stickiness, and the thought of separating that bond almost shatters your little gnomish heart. You snuzzle deeper into him, placing your little bitten nose into the crook where his neck meets his muscular, naked shoulder, and you snuzzle in. And the last thing you do is you take in this deep inhalation, this musky smell of halfling and gnome love. Night takes you as well. You found where you were always meant to be. Night falls over the great city of Storm Haven, the port of storms. And night dances on. Hours and hours passing. Sunrise peaks up over the horizon. You can see, if you were outside, 100 sails bobbing in the various bays and ports of this great and grand city of Aethon. You can see seabirds mixing with the great crows and ravens. You can see 1,000 banners on top of spinels of great estates, smoke rising and wafting up into the night or the early morning sky. Over in one area, you can see or smell bakeries firing up, blacksmiths over here. 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and more citizens, travelers, and passers through wander the city, wiping sleep from their eyes. This chimney sweeps. There's a scene in one corner where there's 4 or 5 outside of a black wooden building guild house for an order of chimney sweeps. Worry, fear, horror upon their faces as they discuss a missing member of their guild that has not reported in, as he has for the past 22 seasons. The city of Stormhaven comes to life. Talina, you awaken in the confines of the booth inside of the Gilded Nymph. Your head thumping. The only sound in here are a couple plates and tankards clanking and thunking, and the sound of a crackling fire, and cooks by the dozen preparing the morning meal for the 100 or 200 or maybe on some nights 300 patrons that call this grand establishment home. And with each of these sounds, your head thunks and pounds. It feels like somebody is driving a great iron spike into it. Your eyes blurred, trying to focus. Wiki, you awaken alone in your room on the 2nd floor. It's a nice room. You've got a small fireplace. You even have indoor plumbing, so you actually have a bath facility in kind of a strange little, like, semi or half circled walled off area with a small door. There is this brass wide rimmed bowl with an empty hole in it and a copper tube that goes down and disappears into the walls of the building. There is a great jug of water and a pulling apparatus that releases water down another tube into this so that you can wash down whatever it is that you leave in the bowl. Primitive, but way above shitting in some cold outhouse. Strangely, there's coiled tubes in the wood that you found and discovered that actually keeps this room warm. So even in the depths of winter, which you have been here for, Your small little gnomish tuchus does not get cold sitting upon the bowl of metal. The two of you stretch, and then as you're stretching, even you, Talina, as a thunk of pain goes through your head, so does the image of Regina and Belton's love. And your mind, in this kind of hungover, hazy state, a bit of nausea, that wetness at the back of your throat tightens because you remember the image in Dreyfus's temple, or Dreyfus's temple, Lady of Shadow, of the humans, or what you originally remember being humans, now replaced with Regina's naked shadowed body and Belton's shadowed body. But as you saw on those pictures on that night that you were there, how the moonlight glints in every once in a while, your mind's eye, maybe it's the alcohol, maybe there was something on that scroll case that Wiki took with him. But you see a beam of moonlight hit something that at first it looks like a coin, and then you realize that no, it's the exposed, sweaty rump of the halfling sorcerer, Belton. This burned into your mind. Regina, you stir awake. A dream, a hot, passion-filled dream, and you awake with the greatest of fears. You hold your eyes shut, a tear building up because the thought is there in the back of your mind as your heart palpitates and skips a beat. Your small, heaving chest holding back the sorrow as it plays through your mind that you're going to wake up and it's not going to be Belton. This fear holds you for a few moments as you slowly peek with one eye and you see naked flesh next to you, not yours, and your heart patters in your chest. Your breath quickens. You open the other eye and you see the jawline and you pull back just a bit. Dried stick, sweat, skin attached to each other, pulling away. And this brings a smile to your face and a shiver down your naked form as you remember the night's festivities. Oh, so vividly. Your eyes, as you pull away, fall on the naked, muscular form of the great lover known as Belton Cobblebolt, the love of your life. You fall towards him, aiming your lips at his. Something moves, Belton. You recall maybe picking up a strumpet, a harlot, a whore off some back alley street on the streets of Stormhaven. But you don't remember everything else. Oh, the headache, the pounding and throbbing in your head. Some. Did you partake of Whimsy's weeds again? Did you drink too much? Did somebody slip you a Mickey? Because you see this blur coming at your face. Your eyes snap wide as the image clears and you gasp as Regina is coming at you with a rate of passion-filled love and speed. Her lips grown and puckered, aiming straight for you. Jeez Louise, by all the gods above and below, what the hell is happening? This woman is naked, lust-filled. You can see her breasts heaving as nothing but lust and love fills her eyes. What are you going to do, Belton?
So she's coming at my face.
Oh, she's coming.
I'm gonna get you.
Nope.
Can I get?
And I'm getting the fuck out.
Can I get an initiative roll, please, Belton and Regina?
I got a 19.
I
Regina.
got a 13.
Belton, his hand, the muscles of his forearms like Popeye on 2 cans of spinach. The bulging bicep comes out to meet you and stops you, and he holds you there suspended above him. And Belton, in your great rush to hold Regina at bay, you might have misplaced your hand a bit. Regina, Belton's hand comes up and rests on your chest, cupping you oh so gently. But there's a look of horror on his face that racks through your brain. You love this halfling so much, but you realize, go ahead and roll me an insight. At disadvantage, as a matter of fact, Regina. Love blurring your vision.
That would be an 11.
Nah, he's got to love you the same way. Wiki, you're in your room. You have sitting on the table next to your bed the scroll tube or the scroll case that holds both the piece of parchment with the skull with the dagger driven down through it, the bloody torn thumb of your friend now missing Cedric the dwarf. And when you kind of get up, clear your eyes, take care of your morning business, and you see that thumb, it sends a chill up your spine, because now not in the light of a dim booth, but actually in the light that you've now, like through open windows and sunlight coming in. The sunlight washes. Oh, audio. Okay. This is the last time. Is that better?
It's fine with me.
I'm not hearing it. I think we're good.
That sounds fine.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
get the-
Yeah, they're saying it's better.
Yep. Okay, so anyways, the light washes in over that end table and illuminates what you see inside. His thumb was torn with a great bestial strength. You can see bits of his hair, his beard, and such in there, and it makes your stomach turn for just a moment. You're alone in the room. You know that somewhere downstairs is Talina, hopefully okay in the booth, and Regina and Belton, you don't even want to think about it.
I'll move over and inspect the parchment for anything else that might be on it, any other clues as to where it might have come from.
Go ahead and roll an investigation.
14.
14. You look it over. The only thing that nothing. There's nothing in it. It's just the thumb, bits of his hair, the parchment, and blood.
I'll close the case and take it with me as I head downstairs to our booth.
Okay. You it takes you a few moments, and there's actually a point where you're coming out and you look down a hallway, and you think you hear a bit of like a sigh exiting down the hallway, and it's probably just your mind playing a trick. You exit down into the tap room. When you get down there, there's maybe 50 people strewn throughout the tables around the bar and all that, and the smell of the food. In the 6 months you have been here, Galadin is a short dwarven cook who is one of the executive cooks of this great establishment. But he, every once in a while, brings in this bacon that is cured from wild boar high up in the mountains of the Dragon's Bastion. And as you come down into the tap room, this has become a favorite of yours. As you come down into the tap room, that's all you can smell wafting out of the kitchen. And as you come down the stairs, through the archway, into the room, the doors next to you swing open from the kitchen. And you don't see Galadin. You see Arivas, a smaller, scrawnier human, maybe late teens, struggling with this grand platter, and it is topped off with breads, some porridges. There's this berry porridge that they make here that is, oh, it's so good. But you see this great mound of this wild boar seasoned bacon. The boy's eyes, glinting, make contact with yours, and he smiles, beaming, struggling with this great platter as he moves along with you, following the same line, over to your guys' booth. Because yes, for the things you've done in the past for the owner of this place, you guys are traded a bit like royalty. You're not sure when this is going to run out, but for right now, you guys are living the life large. Talina, you kind of stretch a groggy, headache-filled hand out and part the curtain as you smelling everything. And as you do, Arivas, the serving boy, appears in front of you with this platter, shaking, jiggling bits of wild boar bacon, which you normally adore and love, but dear God, it makes your stomach royal. Roll me a constitution check at disadvantage.
No,
Oh, that's just
don't
me.
ruin the bacon.
I'm not thinking a 9's probably going to get me anywhere.
No, a 9's not
Now
going
the
to get it.
15 would have.
15 might have, yeah, 15 might have. But your guts roiling inside of you. You can't even, you're not even able to do a type thing. It just, Wiki, you see her face immediately go pale and sweat filled and green nausea coming over her face. And you know that she is going to unleash the most god-awful stream of putrid, foul liquid on this glorious platter of wild boar bacon. This stuff is rare. A platter like this, made by Galadin's hand, easily
You gotta save it, dude.
it can easily fetch 50, 60, in the right circumstances, maybe even 100 coins of gold. The boars that he hunts with his family in the mountains known as the Dragon's Bastion, which looms over the coastlands of Amradal, are rare. Maybe 2 a year that he can gather to make bacon like this. And he has given you guys much. As this look of explosion comes over her face, do you want to try and save the bacon, or are you going to let it go, Wiki?
Oh, I'm going to attempt to save the bacon. I'm going to attempt to step between her and...
Go ahead. You need to actually kind of step around the boy, and you would basically be interjecting yourself kind of in this kind of emotion between her and the bacon, giving her your back. Go ahead and roll me an acrobatics. This is an acrobatical move here, I think.
8. No, not the bacon.
Let's
Face full of
see what the boy is able to do. I have a +10. I don't want to see the bacon go away. Oh, Swarmsy with the 500 bits. 500 bits. You give me a +5, Swarmsy. Wiki, he's giving you a +5 to that roll.
That'd make it 13.
That would make it 13. You manage. You've never moved like this before. You literally dance, ballerina, just dance between, and you hear this great gushing as this liquid in chunks splash across your back. The boy grabs the platter, kind of dips and turns. You see a piece of bacon go to fall off of it. You snap a hand out. That's how agile you are. You snap your hand out, crunching down on the bacon. Oh, you now understand the passion that Regina and Belton shared last night as that bacon caresses your lips. This goo drips off of your back, but quite honestly, this stuff is intoxicating. You probably don't care. You take the platter from young Arivas, put it on the table, and slide in to the table. You don't care. Talina, your stomach continues to churn because Wiki is gorging on this bacon. Belton, Regina. Belton, you're holding Regina, your hand cupped on her breast. It seems to do nothing more than excite her as she kind of begins to reach out towards you.
I'm gonna take a second and look around the room and try and locate the door.
Okay, yeah, you see the door.
And I cast Misty Step
Okay.
to the door.
To the door. Regina.
And then if I
Okay, go ahead.
And if I can, I want to open the door. I'm getting the fuck out.
Regina.
You're naked, dude. Jesus.
He was there.
I don't
That's
know what
what I
the
was
fuck's going on.
thinking.
I gotta leave.
He was there. He was within your grasp, and now nothing more than a mist as you hover just briefly over where he was, and you collapse, thudding onto the pillows and the sheets and that kind of wishy-washy memory foam substance that's used. Maybe some kind of a sand or a static sand, something like that. And you hear quickly a thunk thunk behind you. You cast your look back longingly, searching for the love of your life, and you see him. And Belton, you see Belton at the doorway grabbing because there are no handles. The two of you spent the night in the loved lock chamber. In the 6 months you've been here, you have heard stories about the love locked chamber. People pay extra for this room because it is a very nefarious room with very many doors and things. But this room, the big thing is that you get in here, you get your business on. There is no safe word. The only way you're let out is if somebody on the other side lets you out. Wiki, your jangly's hanging naked to the world. You are looking for some kind of a locking mechanism, a doorknob, and there isn't one. It's you almost panic. Regina, what are you going to do? Regina.
Oh.
Jeannie, can you say something for me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Wait. Shauna. Oh, it looks like we might have lost somebody. She's still on the call. She's at a loss for words. I'm not. Connor, you're muted.
Sorry, I was coughing earlier.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave that scene for a moment. We don't have too much further tonight. It's gonna be a bit shorter episode than usual. Talina, Wiki, Talina, you're swallowing it back, but Wiki is just gorging himself on this bacon.
So I'm gonna run to the nearest bucket
Okay.
and just empty my stomach
Okay.
so I get it over with.
All right. Okay, cool. You go running over to the bar. You remember several cleaning buckets around the bar. And you see Anlo Tellus, one of the human bartenders there. As you reach around, you grab the big bucket that's there, sloshing bar rag liquid, and empty your stomach into this. With a loud sloshing and sploshing sound, you manage to empty your stomach, stabilize yourself, and as you turn around, Wiki, you are still gorging on the bacon. What are you going to do, Talina?
Now that I've emptied the contents of my stomach and I'm not hopefully feeling quite as nauseous, I'm going to well, may I get a large glass of water?
Anlo, his eyes just kind of why are you okay? Of course not. A stupid question. Yes, would you care for anything? Yes, he turns around, slings open one of the panels. Can I get a great glass of water, please? We have a patron that could use, and a glass of water comes out. He brings it over to you. There you go, lass. Go sit down.
I'm going to take the glass and then head back to our booth slowly.
Okay. You make it over, and as you turn around, there's Wiki. Half of the pile of bacon is gone.
Would you like some?
It may be in the moment.
Maybe in the
I'm going to
moment.
chug some of the water.
All right, and we head back upstairs. Regina, are you there?
It sounds like she's having audio issues. She responded on Discord and in the chat, and then also on Messenger.
Alrighty. Well, we're gonna hold off on Regina Belton. We are going to hold off, I believe, now on Talina and Wiki. Talina, you're making your way across the floor of the inn. You can see sitting on the table near where the platter of pork flesh to bacon is at. And that is where we're going to close for the night. Regina and her lover, the great and magnificent Belton Cobblebolt, breaking hearts again. Upstairs, Talina and Wiki downstairs with a half-eaten mound of rare boar bacon. We will go ahead and call this one for tonight. It's about as much as I feel like giving away. I'm still a little bit tired. If everybody out there could do me a favor, stick around for the end of show announcements, and we are going to raid another channel. Give me a moment to find that channel. Let's get that off there. You don't need to see my porn folders. Let me go ahead, take a look around.
That explains everything.
Let me go ahead, take a look around out there in the world of D&D and see if I can't find somebody that we can drop in and share the love with tonight. Wow.
Yeah, there was a lot of love going on tonight.
A lot of love. Yeah, we're not going to raid D&D. Let's see here. Who can we raid out there? Who can we give some love to? Hey, how about Damaged Dice? I'm thinking we might go pay these guys a bit of a hello tonight. Let me get this up. So anyways, this has been Forged at the Table. This has been no.
I think she was saying no to the porn raid.
Okay. This has been Forged at the Table. I've been Charles, your Dungeon Master. These have been the wonderful players tonight. Unfortunately, Regina's having some audio issues, so we'll have to get that sorted out. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close out tonight, Connor, the player of Belton?
This is fucking bullshit. No, that's kind of it. Yeah, this is bullshit.
All right.
It was fun, but
Jeannie, my lovely wife, player of Talina, anything you'd like to say?
Oh, I'd like to apologize to Swarmy for never having to use his reroll after he to me. Like I said, I never rolled below a 13
because you didn't have to anymore.
I know it. Like I said, I was rolling like 4s and 5s and stuff before he gave it to me, and now all of a sudden, like I said, my lowest one. For my wisdom save.
All right, come on, guys. We need to get this raid done.
Okay.
It's
Gene.
all good to me.
All right, Wiki.
I'm hungry for bacon now.
All right. So with that, I've been your Dungeon Master, Charles. Please, there is no Adventure Weekly tomorrow. Look at our schedule down below, or the one that will pop up later on once we're done. I want to thank you for coming and joining us tonight. I super appreciate it. We're going to pop a raid off right now. Please jump into this raid. Give me one last quick brief moment. Again, for everybody for the bits tonight, super appreciate it. To Xanatos BK, Material Components, Top Tabling, and P Obliterator for the follows. Welcome to our unique and yes, sometimes dysfunctional family. I'm Charles. This is The Long Road. This is Forged at the Table. Let's go spread some love, folks. Jump in on that raid. Let's go say hi to the guys over there at Damage Dice. Please stick around. Please, guys, jump into this raid. These guys have got some good D&D content for you. Let's go over and say hi. Let's share it around. Come on, everybody. We got 23 raiders, 28 viewers. Come on, folks. Jump in. Let's spread the love. You guys took us to number 3 tonight, by the way, just so you guys know. Super appreciate that. Super appreciate it. Thank you to my moderators again. You guys
At one
are
point,
fantastic.
we were 3 viewers short of being in 2.
And here we go.
This is
Forged
just
at the
fine.
table. Thank you very much.
Bonus
for that
action
raid.
is going to be the drill, moving over and getting the beast.
You guys kick some serious
For
ass.
a
Welcome to the party.
22
Welcome to the
to
game.
hit.
Welcome. With a 22 to hit, that absolutely makes contact, man.
Okay. That's 9 points of drill
I'm
damage.
not getting any
And